Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Chat Time. Let's chat Monster Hunter World Iceborne. We're back on the PlayStation 4, and we're ready to talk about anything you guys want to talk about. Additionally, I'm ready to help you guys with whatever you need help with. Hopefully, the microphone's not too close to my face. I've been kind of changing up my setup a bit. So, I used to just use my office chair, but now I got like a laying down situation so that I can be extra lazy. So now I'm like laying on the couch like a true fat guy who plays video games all day. How's it going, everyone? Are you ready to play some Monster Hunter on the PlayStation? You want to see me card a few times? So the chat time, let's chat episodes are always me paying an extra special care to read your comments. We'll talk about any subject you want to talk about. Additionally, I just kind of play casually. Half the times I'm not even looking at the screen. It's kind of like driving and texting, okay? So I'm going to crash probably. So you'll probably see some terrible gameplay. You'll probably see some terrible builds. This is my PlayStation account. And I just haven't been on PlayStation in a while, so it was time to get on PlayStation and play with you guys. If you have something you need to grind, you want some help with, well, we're probably going to have a full lobby, so jump into the lobby. If you're lower level and you need help with, like, the campaign or something, totally fine. Excuse me, I'll try to prioritize joining your stuff first. So I'm always going to look for people who look like they could use a little bit of help. Additionally, I know throughout the live streams, I usually receive a few donations because you guys are so generous. You really are. When you make those donations, feel free to request a particular weapon because, that's pretty much all I can do for you is to give you, a thank you and then say, hey, you want me to play with the certain weapon? I'll play with the certain weapon. So those are weapon requests. All right, let's get started. I got my feet kicked up. Oh, so nice. What is this? This is like a defensive blast bow build. Man, I haven't worked on builds or anything in this game in a long time, man. I think the last thing that was really fun in this game was Kulve Taroth, but we waited like forever for Kulve Taroth to come out. She came out like last month, was it? That would have been April? She came out in April, right? And so the game came out in September of last year, at the beginning of September of last year. So that's like September, November, December, January, February, March, 7 months later. 7 months later, we get the Master Rank version of Kulve, and really it mostly is just Kulve, you know what I mean? It wasn't huge. The changes were significant and they were difficult, but yeah, I don't know. 7 months for a Kulve fight, and that lasted a little bit. Raging Bracky and Furious Rajang were fun. They really were, but they probably should have launched with Iceborne, to tell you the truth. They should have been in the launch. So it's been a little high and dry when it comes to content for Monster Hunter. Regardless, I know that there are a lot of new players joining the scene, so people are picking up the game for the first time. Alatreon's hopefully just around the corner. We don't actually know if he's around the corner because they won't give us any news. But as you guys know, Alatreon was delayed. So we're definitely in a content drought, in my opinion, for Monster Hunter right now. Anyone who's already been playing since September, there's not a lot left to do, to be honest, in the end game. It turns out the end game for Monster Hunter is like guiding lands. And to a lesser degree, like you can work on your fashion, but it's like once you're done with your fashion, you're done with your fashion. So like the weapon augments came out for weapon skins. That was nice. It was a nice thing that probably could have already been in the game by now. But yeah, there's not a lot to do. And so I'm going to help newer players get ready for Alatreon. That's my goal. And you guys know in the very late night streams, we've been doing some Pokemon stuff. It's not my normal content, but hey, if we're in a content drought for Monster Hunter, might as well squeeze in some games I would love to play anyways. Pokemon's great, Monster Hunter great. They have a little overlap, don't they? Let's see, Brashogun says, PlayStation 4 hype. I'm hopping off. Sounds good, man. And Max said the same thing. Plays for hype, I'm hopping on. Oh, I see, Brashogun's making fun of you. What cat armor is that? This is a PlayStation exclusive cat armor. Yep, that's PlayStation exclusive. It's from that one game, Horizon Zero Dawn. How's it going, Terra? Stream time. That's right. Steven says, I have tons to do. I hope they make the guiding lands more fun. Yeah, they probably won't. They probably won't. The best thing for them to do right now is to just forget about the guiding lands. Just it is what it is. It is what it is. And then to focus on bringing us more new monsters who we've never encountered before, not even in old games. New, difficult monsters that really give you a good test of your skill, kind of like the way Master Rank Kulve Taroth was actually fairly difficult. I think Master Rank Cove is currently the most difficult Iceborne monster there is, but that's really saying something, isn't it? Because Master Rank Cove is just Cove Taroth from base game that we've fought a bazillion times already, and they changed up the way the hit zones worked, and they changed the way the fight works so that the fight ends very quickly if you're not doing enough damage. And then they gave her like 2 new moves in stage 4, which is cool. But and you can wall splatter now, I guess, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, it's just we fought her a lot. We need something new, man. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to help players who are still grinding right now. I think the future is bright for Monster Hunter, if anything.
Let's hunt Gold Rathian.
Woo! Hold on, I forgot about Streamlabs. Let me refresh Streamlabs because I have no clue what's happening with the Streamlabs. Let's hunt who? It's Rakusagai. Let's hunt Gold Rathian. Yeah, let's do it. Shut up about talking about the state of the game. Available quests. That's not Gold Rathian. If you post Gold Rathian, I'll join it up. Big OSZ says, you finally did a PlayStation stream and I can't even play because it's late for me, but still thanks for great content. Hey, thanks for the encouragement, man. Stephen King says, one day I'm a hunt with the almighty TGE and then you can carry me. TN says, I think layered weapon system is kind of stupid because we all play through the game with ugly weapons and by the moment we have fashion stuff, we just don't have anything to do. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one of the things I've talked about. There's a lot of things that have been added to the game that wasn't really in the base game, like the whole poses. You got the camera thing that you can do now. You have a room. The room's full of objects. You've got charms. The guiding land is this mishmash bad map of already existing resources where you just refight the already existing monsters that you've fought a bunch, except now they have like 1 exclusive or 2 exclusive materials. So there's a lot of like crap in the game. And you know what there's not a lot of? Unique monsters we've never seen before and difficult fights. Those are the things that give you a good end game. And those just don't, they're non-existent. And I think Elatrion is probably going to be the first true end game fight. That's my guess. I'm gambling on it. But I think it's fair to say that. Let's join Rakusagai. That is my guess. So, Rakusagai, by the way, he opens up a bunch of cards with this on the card stream. Yeah, let's get in there. That is my guess. Elatrion's going to be a nice, tough fight, just like Behemoth. And then they'll probably release like Extreme Elatrion. I hope they release an Extreme Elatrion. And if they do, it's going to add so much replayability to this game if they add that. So we'll have Extreme Behemoth for newer players, and we'll have Extreme Elatrion for veteran players. And it would just be so fun. We'll probably add like a solo challenge for the Discord challenges once again, just like we had for Extreme Behemoth. And, you know, I've been thinking about maybe updating that challenge a little bit, but we'll see. Yeah, hopefully all of that comes true. But we're just waiting. It's so COVID-19 messed up so much, dude. You guys probably noticed I don't put out a lot of videos. That's because you get paid like minimum wage right now by YouTube ad revenue. So YouTube ad revenue is terrible right now. For me, I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but my ad revenue cut in half. And then for a little while, maybe at its peak, it was cut down to just about 1/3 of what it used to be, but now it's back at about 1/2. So I have no incentive to work on videos. We just do some live streams together. It actually is more fun to just do live streams at this point. So you haven't seen a lot of videos from me other than the Lance video, the controversial Lance video. And that's about it. We've done a lot of card streams on my secondary channel. If you guys have never been over there, you should pop in sometimes. I'm not exaggerating. We legit open up thousands of dollars of cards over there. What was it? Was it 2 streams ago? We opened up, this is how much we opened up. This is not exaggeration. We opened up $4,000 of cards in a booster box that's like 20 years old. We did that like 2 days ago. So if you ever want to see something a little different from playing video games, check out my other YouTube channel for that. You know, we've been growing over there. That's a lot of fun. And then, yeah, the late night Pokemon streams. We've been playing retro Pokemon Blue, which was incredible from 1996. That was a lot of fun. I always tell this story. My dad especially was so against video games. He did not want us playing video games. So Pokemon came out. It was this huge thing. Everyone on the street was talking about it. And you knew what people on the street were talking about in the 1990s because there was no internet. You actually went outside. I mean, you didn't really get on the internet. You didn't get on your phone. You didn't watch Netflix. You didn't watch YouTube. None of that existed. So you actually went outside every single day to hang out with your friends because that's how you did it back then. Pokemon comes out, huge craze. Everyone knows about it. and I'm the only one not playing. And so a little while later, my friend actually sneaks me his Game Boy, which, by the way, I just reached out to him yesterday on Facebook. I haven't talked to him in like 20 years. So I just reached out to him. I don't know if he'll even see my message. I don't know if he's active on Facebook, but he snuck me his Game Boy and Pokemon Blue, and I played it in secret. I didn't even want my brothers to know, so I played it in secret in my bedroom with my. Since I was from a large family, right? I had a bedroom with 3 other brothers. The 4 of us lived in one bedroom together. It was awful. Oops, I guess we didn't eat. I thought we ate. So back then, I had to sneak it. And then, so we finally replayed it 20 years from now. And man, it was a rush of nostalgia, but also you got to see how games were made back then. It was actually challenging, and not the craziest thing. So I played Pokemon Blue, Game Boy 1996 Pokemon Blue. I played it on this YouTube channel over the last previous week, and it was actually challenging. There were parts of the game that were confusing. And I was just thinking to myself, I was like, wow, we just don't make games like this anymore. Games are so friggin' easy. They're all like cell phone games now. And maybe that's why I like Monster Hunter, is because Monster Hunter has so much in it that's actually challenging. There's a lot to learn. It's a dense game. That was kind of true about Pokemon back then. So Pokemon's been around, obviously, for 20 years, and people have been playing it nonstop. But back then, when the game released, so little was understood about Pokemon that it was so fantastic and fun, and there were a lot of puzzles in that game for a game meant for kids. There were lots of puzzles, there were lots of challenges. I can't say it's difficult now as an adult with the internet, but back then it must have been so difficult. And I do actually remember, getting stuck in the game, and it's a pity because there's that new Sword and Shield, and we played it on this channel when it came out too, and I don't think that was challenging at all. Sword and Shield holds your hand. I don't agree with that kind of game design at all, by the way. This let's make it for people with I don't know, ADHD or something. I don't think it's ADHD. How would you describe mobile games? Mobile games are all about selling you stuff, microtransactions, DLCs, whatever, right? I guess modern games are DLCs, right? You gotta buy the game, then you gotta buy 2 DLCs at least. If you haven't bought the DLC, what are you doing, bro? So they don't really make it too difficult, and then they throw in all the microtransactions, and your accomplishments are whether you bought microtransactions. Which, by the way, Monster Hunter's not totally immune to either. But they've got lots of microtransaction content at this point. The expansion was not free. Okay, so you paid for the game, you paid for the expansion, and now we get, instead of a bunch of unique monsters, we get charms. We get. I would say Monster Hunter is in a dangerous position to start looking bad from all that, right? Oh, but it's free, bro. Yeah, it's when they release something like a free title update. Well, you have to remember that the actual launch of the expansion of Monster Hunter didn't actually include that much. They were probably intending to give us these, quote, free title updates either way, you know what I mean? So it's all very interesting, having a little bit of perspective, playing a game from 1996 over the last previous week and continuing to play Monster Hunter now. We probably would have already gotten a Latreon, to be fair, because COVID-19, they claim that COVID-19 caused it to be delayed, and I think that's true for a lot of games. So that's not their fault, Capcom or anything like that. I'm excited for it though. Hopefully we get it soon. I really think probably people are slowing down on playing this game because
you invest this in your bank's security fund on your Pokemon.
Wait.
I want to be a contributor. Bleed purple cool cat doo-doo.
Bleed purple cool cat doo-doo. The bank security fund. Yeah, so what he's talking about is on the card channel I've got a donation fund going, because I'm trying to buy a pretty sizable Volt, hopefully like 1,000-pound Volt, and we're going to start putting the cards in there. And the reason we need a Volt is because we actually open up Pokemon cards that when you kind of add them all up together, they could be worth like $10,000. That's not a great thing to just have laying around. Like let's say a tornado. I live in a place where we get tornadoes. Let's say a tornado hits. I will want it to be safe from the tornado. Or let's say we have a fire. I would want it to be safe from the fire, so I'm probably going to buy Vault. It'll be it's like an additional piece of furniture. I'll have to ship it with me or transport it with me every time my wife and I move. And we probably won't move very often, but it'll be a Vault. We'll store the best cards in there until the cards have been shipped off to their owners, including my own cards, by the way. I got cards I'd like to have protected too. Let's go ahead and slash them up on the tail. Let's wake them up with the attack on the tail. That's a mistake. Oh my god, I still got hit by that. I'm so bad. Anyways, let's go ahead and read your comments. I don't hear the game sounds. Let me fix that for you right now. The reason for that is simple. Let me fix that for you right now. Alright, you should be hearing some game sounds. So the reason that you weren't hearing any game sounds is because I turned it down to adjust for the retro games we were playing on the PC. Because those retro games are much louder than Monster Hunter for some reason. Alright, so that's fixed. Come here, sweetie. Come here, sweetums. Probably forgot to adjust after playing Pokemon. Yep, that's right. They needed more time to develop more skeletons. Going to a brand new engine was a big jump. The previous 3 titles shared assets. This one couldn't. Not an excuse, but a reason. Sure, yeah, no problem. I play a lot of Monster Hunter, and truly all I want to see is Monster Hunter to be a fun game that continues to succeed. I'm all in. My whole channel was basically grown off of this one game. I didn't play like variety games. I played just Monster Hunter. So, you know, you could say I have selfish reasons to want to see them succeed, but also I love this game. It's a fun game. So I have all kinds of reasons to want to see them succeed, but it's also, it's both fun, and it's important to think about the things that will help this game attract a wider audience and continue to have relevance and continue to have replayability and longevity. I think that the base game, a lot of people were really satisfied with the base game just because the base game included a lot of quality of life improvements that weren't in the previous titles, and a huge improvement to graphics, right? And then I think what people were expecting with Iceborne was like, all right, and here's it. The game's going to release hard mode, and there's going to be so many monsters. And so far, it hasn't really played out that way, to be honest. Would it be fair to say that Iceborne has been roughly the same exact difficulty as the base game? Like, I don't really see a big difference other than the fact that it's been 8 months and we haven't gotten a behemoth fight, which I think the behemoth came out faster than that for the base game. Right? Didn't the behemoth come out in August, but the game launched in February? So I'm pretty sure we got behemoth faster for the base game than we did for the expansion. And we did pay $40 for the expansion. It wasn't like some small amount. That's 2/3 of the full price of the game. So you pay $60 for the game, $40 for the expansion, but you know, I'm fighting like Gold Raytheon. Gold Raytheon's already in the game. They just kind of gave her a few new moves and a new color to her skin. So you think the production time on the expansion would actually be smaller than the production time they had to spend on the base game. Right? So anyways, I'm just talking about, we're just having a conversation about the state of the game, I think, right now. I think it's a good time to have that conversation because because of the content drought, we have nothing else to talk about, do we? So if there was no content drought, we would be fighting, presumably, a new monster, and our whole conversation would be about that monster right now. But because there's no new monster out, no Elytrion, for example, we have a chance to talk about how we feel about the game and the state of the game right now. Why is the game releasing Elytrion so late? It's making the game boring. Dotagama says, yeah, Elytrion should have been released months ago. Bacon says, we need a Dotagama variant. Hell yeah. What the heck? No Dotagama variant? Dotagama clearly was like the mascot of the base game. So if Capcom was paying close attention to all the memes that were made, all the icons that were made, they should have given us a Dotagama variant. But maybe they'll do that later. Iceborne is way easier, says Shia Mirai. Yeah, I would say it's easier just because more is known about the game, I'd say, first of all. So a big new Western audience, presumably Western audience, came over to the Monster Hunter franchise for the first time, and the game's going to be more difficult the first time you come over. And then Iceborne comes out, and all those guys, including myself, have gotten much better at the game, but the game doesn't really challenge you more. Tara says, you should totally use dual blades. Tenku says, is 5:27 where I am? Why are you recording, my lord? Tenku, you're probably used to me streaming very late at night. So I will sometimes, no, not sometimes, I will often stream at like 3 a.m. in the morning. So you're probably more used to that time. But in my time where I live, it's actually only 4:30 p.m. So you're probably just used to my extreme streaming schedule. I'm still stuck on Nami, on Arch-Tempered Nami. Help me, please. Let's take a look, Matt. You got it posted? Flying Dotagama, that would be amazing. How about a giant Dodogama as variant? Yeah, just like a deadly Dodogama. Jack says Dodogama should have had a red form that just spit straight lava. I didn't struggle on Barrieth. Barrieth killed me 11 times. You know, if they were having fun with this game, they could have released like the ultimate Dodogama fight already. He could be the most difficult fight in the game. Let's say instead of having a large variant of him, they had like a really small variant of Dodogama, and let's say they sped him up 2 times. So this motherfucker is so fast. They could have made him pure red, and then his attacks could just hit you so like a truck basically. And so Dodogama, he likes to do this running attack where he like eats while he's digging or running or whatever. They could have that attack be prolonged, except he does like a figure eight patterns and all kinds of crazy shit, and he just comes right after you and chases you real hard. And they could have just made him so deadly. He could have given you really cool Dodogama armor in the end. The Dodogama armor set, by the way, is awesome looking. Have you guys seen it? It looks great. But they just don't do that stuff. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it just takes a great deal of time, and I'm not aware of it. But this is their most profitable franchise ever, right? So they talk about it all the time. They sold millions, millions, millions of copies. The money's there. Their stocks did well because of the earnings, so the money's there. They just don't do it. I don't know. Maybe it's very hard to do. Obviously, I don't run a game studio, but there's so much potential in it, and I feel like as time goes by, it's wasted potential. But take a look at this Dodo set. Look at that. Look at this one. So they could have made this set red and had like Arch-Tempered Dodogama already. Would have been awesome. Would have been super sweet. Icy Dodogama, sure. Could have been Icy Dodogama. That would have been neat too. Would have fit the theme. People would have loved it. You know, they could have given him a little sass, a little attitude. They could have made it so that he does a little like laugh or something like that. Like maybe he stands on his hind legs and he does like a laughing animation. Just give him a little personality. Players aren't going to be like, oh, that's not realism. Players wouldn't have cared. They would have loved it. It's all full up. Okay, we can't join that then. So they could have done an awful lot in this game, and I just feel like, you know, we're just waiting for Electron. Electron's been canceled, but presumably Electron was supposed to launch it in the end of May, and was it the end of May? No, they didn't say the end of May. They just said May. Presumably he was supposed to be launched around right now. So we are feeling the fallout of coronavirus in our video games.
Anyways.
All right, botanical research. Let's go ahead and collect all these. We're building up our clone grass bud. It's a great thing to have because you can heal yourself and your teammates very fast. Rotten Dodogama that makes acid in its mouth. Yeah, something like that. Ice Dodogama wants to chill in hot spring. Matt says my quest canceled. Did it really? Are you Big Boy? I'm joining Big Boy, okay? It should be called Gluttonous Dodogama. Let's see. How full are we? Oh, nice. We are full. Thanks for joining, by the way, guys. Wait. We do have a guy named Matt. No, that's Small. I got confused there. Small. All right. And, you know, we were using this bow build. Well, let's jump over to something real defensive, maybe. What do we got here? Speed Eat. It's the same build. Light bowgun, longsword. Alright, so I have a somewhat defensive hammer build. The problem here is we're going to really rely on Divine Blessing to save us. Let's go ahead and have... I'm scared. Arch-Tempered Namielle is a huge bullet sponge, and she does kill you very fast. Let's change out the mantle. She's a big old bullet sponge. Do we have water mantle? Dragon proof. We don't have the water mantle. Let's go with thunderproof then. Alright, so temporarily put that together. I wouldn't mind gathering the Arshan set on my PC and my PlayStation characters, so that would be fine with me. Let's go ahead and eat. Veggie plat. Oh, wait a second. Did anyone eat? You know, there's no way to quickly communicate it, but somebody should always be eating feline safeguard. What if there was Dodogama Deviant that survived multiple attacks from other monsters? Now that Dodogama is powerful enough to destroy Devil Joe. Let me tell you how it should have gone. So let me tell you. So you run into this small, you know, maybe like Ice Dodogama. He's smaller than usual. He's like Arch-Tempered Dodogama, right? And a cutscene plays, and he's like eating out of the side of a out of a side of a Devil Joe or something crazy. Maybe like the side of a Nergigante, you know, a monster that's traditionally seen as like the alpha dominant monster. He's like eating out of the side of that monster clearly. So you're left there wondering, like, did he defeat that monster and he's eating him, or is he just eating roadkill, right? But then after you start fighting him, you realize, oh my god, this is the Super Saiyan version of Dodogama. It would have been amazing. And Dodogama can stand up on his hind legs and do a little laughing animation after you die. Who knows? So they just could have done so much with this game. It's very casual. That's all I have to say. And we've got the Arch-Tempered Namiel. Yes, it hits harder. Yes, it has way more health. It does not feel like an end game fight. It feels like the exact same problem we were concerned about. It feels like exactly the thing we were afraid would happen with the Arch-Tempered monsters, where's this sort of artificial difficulty that we were talking about repeatedly in the base game, where we're like, god damn, they better not just make this monster hit like a truck and give this monster 1,000,000 health and call it Arch-Tempered, you know, and wipe their hands and call it a day. But that's exactly what Arch-Tempered Namiel really was. So I can tell you right now, she's never going to be exciting. We know that from experience. We have Arch-Tempered fights in the base game that were like this. They were literally just double the health, double the damage, and you never like woke up and said, god, I can't wait to fight that monster. You know what I mean? Like Arch-Tempered Kushala Daora, for example. You never woke up and said, god, I can't wait to fight Arch-Tempered Kushala Daora. Well, it's going to be the same way for Arch-Tempered Namiel. Smack! I'm going to try to keep her body softened for everyone as the hammer player. Ah, darn. They did put in a new weapon in every generation. Gen 3 was Switch X, 4 was given Charge Blade. Now we in Gen 5. Right, that's the other thing. I would have been real happy to... What's she doing? I would have been real happy to see a new weapon released in Iceborne, but we didn't get that either. Is this a hill? Not heel. This is a hill. I've been missing out on a hill right here. Yo, guys, we should be fighting her right here. As the hammer player, I'll get a ton of damage with the spinning midair bludgeon. God. Do I have... I do. Ah, man. If we fought her on this hill, I would get so much damage for you guys, I promise. I didn't realize that she would actually come over to this hill. It's actually cheesy mode. Cheesy easy mode. Like, if we were 4 hammer players and we drew her over to this hill, it would be easy mode. What? Ah, pity. Oh, maybe she doesn't come over to the hill. I'm sorry, guys. It looks like she ran away after we all gathered over here. Okay, well, that's a learning moment. Uh-oh. Woo! Oh, I don't have any... No, Ace! Any new weapon ideas from you? You know, I would just like to see a ball and chain kind of weapon. I think chain physics would be cool in the game. People ask that question all the time, what I think a new weapon would be. Just a ball and chain.
Here's the ball. Again, it's my birthday tomorrow, and I am getting my leave.
What?
Trainer Cosmic and Unified tomorrow as well.
Oh, thanks, Rekusai guy. That sounds fun, man. Let us know how it goes, okay? Show us your polls. chop up her tail. Ouch. Where's the mount? She must not mount easy. I keep trying to roll that move, but it's so hard to roll it. Smack! I wanted it! Like a ball chain and sickle type. Yeah, stuff like that. People have different ideas about it, but I just think that chain physics don't exist in the game currently, so it's a really good opportunity for them to do something new, you know what I mean? I try to roll it. I'm really bad at rolling her roar, just because her roar is like one of those roars that you can't really time very well. Some monsters, when they roar, you can time it extremely well. Alright. Woohoo! We did it! Did you see that? She teleporting. Arch-Tempered Namielle uses teleport. It's super effective. Dual pistols? No, no pistols. No, no, no. That wouldn't fit into the game at all. No, no, no. Ah, pity. She moved. I think there's another Sleepy Toad somewhere. Ball and chain. I don't want the game to turn into Call of Duty. You know, actually, honestly, the way I feel about the bow guns right now, they're already too Call of Duty-ish, to tell you the truth. With the sticky ammo, yeah, I know it's not like a machine gun or anything, but it's just like, you just kind of chill back and brap, 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 brap over and over again. You don't really do anything else. Once you figure out ammo like management, which isn't even that complicated, it's just too easy compared to the other weapons. It's far less involved. Especially like if you want to talk about pierce ammo, spread ammo, elemental ammo. Really, the game ought to be focusing more on normal ammo, an ammo type that is strongly affected by his own values. But sticky ammo, you just aim and shoot and it's over. Uh-oh, big boy's lagging out, man. Oh, big boy's still in. You got it, big boy. Big boy, you're scaring me, man. I'm getting scared right now. Oh my god, that Arch-Tempered Nami's new move, Teleport 2 OP! That's right. It's the move that you didn't know that Capcom gave her. Put this on. Let's go ahead and grab her by the head. You know, I noticed nobody's really knocking her over. A giant boomerang? You know, they don't really need to make a giant boomerang a weapon. I feel like they should just take the regular boomerang and turn it into more of a force to be reckoned with. Like, why can't boomerang and why can't the binoculars have more of a use? You know, nobody uses the binocular. They ought to just have the binocular do some real damage. And then problem solved. They don't need to add a new weapon called the binocular. I'm sorry, not called the binocular. Called the boomerang. Doink! What's she doing? Take this off. I think I know what I need now. I'm down for more instrument-themed weapons. Attack with Vapor Wave? That's right, we have the hunting horn. Now when are we going to get the piano, keyboard, guitar? Oh my god. Oh my god, she on X game mode. Edgy boy, what's up, Edgy boy? Been struggling to get my hunt time for solo Arch-Tempered Nami under 20 minutes. Should I just give up if I feel like I hit my skill ceiling? Well, what I would say, Edgy boy, the trick is to maybe do a little bit of research on your weapon. Why don't you go ahead and research what the heck actual speedrunners are doing that's working for them? There's probably some information you're missing. And then some other things you can do is just keep playing the game in general. You do get better at it over time, so yeah, you can expect to improve. Oh, come on. That's not a Lechop. Darn. I was hoping that I would get the mount right there, but no mount. Don't kill me. Don't have that Thunderblight, man. Thunderblight is very dangerous. Did we already get a mount? I feel like we must have already gotten a mount. Nope, that's a mount. Alright, let's try not to mess this up, huh? To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if their next weapon is a bowgun melee hybrid. Yeah, I don't know. Unexplored weapon types. Alright, she's coming down, boys! Gather round! Get those softens in. I don't think I've caused 1 KO on her yet, so I'd like to contribute to one of those. If I can stop hitting her in the goddamn wings. Nope, just the wings, huh? I'm going to be lurking. I'm going to sketch that world monster. Thought I'd try throwing that out back here in case she ran forward. Gunsword. An insect glaive without the glaive. We would ride on giant insects into battle. I mean, there's so much they could do. You guys remember Soul Calibur, right? You guys remember Soul Calibur? Remember that weapon that Sexy Ivy had? She had like the whip sword. Where's our whip sword, man? Give us the whip sword already. We don't have whip mechanics in the game. So really what I'm looking for are new physics. Oh, she's going to go to sleep for sure here. Come on, man. No, she's outside of it. God damn. New physics are always really a fun thing to have in a video game. And I think that having something like the whip sword or maybe like a mace and chain, just something cool, you know? Oh man, this isn't going to lead to anything, is it? Her head's never soft. Bro, did you not see my last comment? I probably did not. So there's a lot they could do. There's a lot of ideas out there. Something with the whip would be cool. Something with the ball and chain would be cool. I think they could do a lot better with a sort of spear type weapon because, well, maybe it's just because the lance only plays a certain weight. The lance plays like a shield weapon, not so much like a... Oh, that still reached me. I'm in danger. I'm dead. Oh, we got it! I thought I was trapped there. Oh, that hurts. There it is. I was gonna go all the way around. Run away! Maybe a giant chainsaw? Flamethrower? You guys are too funny. You know, actually, I think a unique weapon would be like maybe like an alchemist, where you throw files of like goop, you know, that explode or something like that. And oh, there's a hill here? Nice. But yeah, maybe something like a chemist sort of role, where you throw like explosive files and they would have like maybe like a grenade trajectory where they would go in an arc over your head, and so you would have to get good at aiming them, and maybe part of using them would be like making a mixture in the middle of the fight, right? So something like that. There's a lot of cool ideas out there, to be honest, not just mine. And again, there's a lot they can do with this game. They're just they're really slow on content, and yet we are paying for it. You know what I mean? A lot of the times when they're slow on content, we're like, well, it's free content. It's like, this isn't really free though. You paid $60 for the game, and then you paid $40 for the... Woo! Wait, we lost the guy who needed the help. We lost Matt. I think we lost Matt. God, I'm so needy, says Brashogun. I'm saying a Kinsect type centipede that attaches to your arm and you use it like a whip. Getting thrown into another wall. Nice job. Is she not getting thrown into another wall? That's sad. He must have realized he had no pods. Whole new mage class. Well, exactly. That's the alchemist would be kind of like a mage class, except with no magic. You see what I'm saying? So like imagine being able to mix like a health potion and throw it at your teammate, or you can mix like a DOT AOE fire potion, like a Molotov cocktail, right? But for reals, and it leaves a little fire on the ground, and that fire damages monsters. So maybe like an alchemist weapon. But I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever get anything like that. There's so much they could do. I just mentioned like a whip weapon that maybe turns into a whip and then into a sword, like Ivy's whip sword and Soul Calibur. And I've mentioned multiple times I'd like to see chain physics in the game. Pick your favorite chain weapon that you want. I mean, it could be nunchucks. Nunchucks are a chain weapon. But just something with the chain. Personally, I think a big sort of like mace with the chain, that would be cool. That you kind of swing around. But they haven't released a new weapon, and I think that that's not a good thing that they didn't release a weapon, because once you learn all 14 weapons, it takes a long time to learn all 14 weapons. Let's say that first. It does take a long time. But once you learn them, you're just kind of like, now what? You know, there's a lot less to explore in the game once you've sort of figured out all 14 weapons. Because before then, you're like, man, I got tons to do. But once you figure them out, you're like, I've got 2 things to do. That's exactly how it feels. Put this on here. Soften up this tail for you guys. New magic spells made from materials. Is there any way to get the Oolong set? You have to wait for the festival to come back, or you have to wait for an appreciation festival. Ah, so bad at rolling her roar. You know, there's the alchemist style in the older games. Is there? But anyways, the major thing we got in Iceborne was the Clutch Claw. And it's too bad because most people don't like the Clutch Claw. Some people like the Clutch Claw. I think that is just, it's not a big change to the game, let's be honest. How about Brass Knuckles? I don't know, Brass Knuckles is kind of weird. I think that we already have a Brass Knuckles kind of weapon called the Dual Blades. You know, it's a real close range, both hands. What they could do is they could release a pair of dual blades that look like the Brass Knuckles. I think they already did. Think about the Rei Jang dual blades. They look more like boxing gloves, you know what I mean? They don't look like daggers. The traditional dual blade daggers. Ouch. That's my temporal mantle is dead. Ouch. That's me getting struck twice. That's me getting struck a 3rd time. Falling all the way to the ground. Loved alchemy style Hama. So the alchemist would be an elemental support type of weapon. Not necessarily, but maybe it would do like maybe it would do like AoE attacks, maybe it would do blast, right? Oh. See, instead of blocking that, I just dive evade it. No chip damage, no concern about stamina. Look at my stamina. See how my stamina is actually lower here? That's because the fight's taking so long. Was like, if the fight took too long on the lance, you would be playing with less stamina on the lance too. So you will have a higher risk of not having enough stamina to guard that move. Let's jump over here real fast. I think a fist fighter monk style class would be cool. Just bring a Tonfa style over from the 7 remake. What? I didn't get it. Maybe get a small knife in the alchemy barrel back. Yeah, it's fun talking about different weapons we could have in Monster Hunter for sure, guys. Oh, what's he gonna do? I like how we call Namiel a she. This fight's taking so long. Oh, man. I gave up my elemental resist. That wasn't very smart of me. Really? Oh my god, I figured we could get a slide on this because this looks very much like a hill. No slide here? Huh, no slide here, guys. Let's bring her, yeah, let's bring her out into that other area. I will get the hill the whole time. Here, I'll use a demon powder for everyone. Get everyone's damage up. Let's get the thunderproof mantle on. Our water and thunder defense is garbage. Hey, Gameconomist, have you ever considered replaying Dark Souls 3 and hosting a PvP lobby? You know, it's been a long time since I played Dark Souls 3. I guarantee you I'm probably trash at the actual PvP at this point because it's been so long. So I haven't really considered it very seriously at all. Yeah, I'm not very open-minded to that. I would play through the game again. Oh no, I'm dead. Oh my god, I'm alive by a small amount. There's still a chance. Come on, don't kill me. That'd be a sad way to lose there. Alright, she's finally over here. She's in trouble now. She's on this slope, so she's supposed to be in trouble at this point. God damn, dude, we take so much damage from that. Oh man, if ever there was a time to flash her, it was right there. Oh well. Let's chase her on up. TGC, you realize Nami does water damage more than thunder. Yeah, but I don't have a water mantle. I only have the thunder mantle on my PlayStation account, sadly. Her water damage is super annoying too because it doesn't just slow down your stamina, but she likes to swish you around with that one move, which is so annoying. It doesn't do damage, it just kind of stops you from doing damage. Are you guys excited for Elden Ring? Yes, very excited, but we don't know when it'll come out. Wait. Where did she go? Oh my god, I'm so sorry, guys. I assumed she was going up top. I'm terrible. She was limping. Does she not go up top when she limps? Maybe she goes back to where she started. My bad. I'm on my way. I've only fought her like 3 times, you know that? Nah, I fought her more than 3 times. How's it going, Diogenes? How is it going? Welcome back to the live stream. Why is y'all most hated monster? Arch-tempered Namiel. Just picking a monster. You know, I get asked those questions so many times, I actually get tired of trying to think about it. Too much thinking. Too much thinking, not enough playing. Oh, she didn't work. Ah, that sucks. She's ready to be thrown into a wall, actually. What about a staff weapon? Well, that's what I was saying. We could actually we could definitely have some kind of staff weapon. Oh, nice. She did hit a wall, too. Oh, and she would. I'm not a big fan of Namiel. Honestly, it wasn't a big deal when I met the monster first time either. Just was blah. Ah, that was the saddest part too, because they advertised Namiel like it's the second coming of Christ. Oh man, here it comes. Remember all the work they did on the introduction, what do they call that? Teaser. There we go, the teaser trailer. Remember all the work they did on the teaser trailer? It was definitely one of those cases where the teaser trailer is way better than the actual thing you get. And that happens all the time in gaming. They're like, look how awesome this is. And it's like, yeah, some artist who's good at making a 10-second teaser trailer makes this look super awesome. But is it awesome? When you get to the gameplay mechanics, you discover it's kind of boring. I'm trying to get to this ledge, I can't get over to it. Kind of boring. Maybe just a little bit boring. Oh man, there goes the temporal mantle already. That didn't last long at all. I missed the old base game OP temporal mantle. Like, I don't care if they have to readjust the monsters to make them tougher to bring back old temporal mantle. That mantle was fun. Being able to be invincible for a little while I actually miss it. I used to complain about it, but I take it back. It was actually fun being invincible for a while, you know? Not having to worry about stuff for a little while. Have we KO'd her even once? Ah, damn it. I walked right in front of it. Hey, eat up here. Oh, oh. Don't disrespect Nami. I'm disrespecting. Let's go ahead and get this Nullberry. I did like no damage. Oh no. Ace, no! Oh, I got you, boy. Got that good. Did you see him? Namiel was going straight for Ace, and I got the mount just then. Perfect timing, really. I don't know how many lives we had left. Don't do it, Namio. Why are you gonna do it? Alright. That's your choice. We all have choices to make, Namio. 1, 2, 3. Boink! Alright, let's do 10 damage to the head. And Namio's gone. Well, it took us long enough. It certainly took us long enough. We must have all been doing bad damage. I know I was. Namiel is more annoying than anything. Trying to hit her head while she spams water attack anymore. I just sticky ammo her to death. Well, exactly, and that's the problem with the sticky ammo is that it's so good. This is one of the things you learn about weapons. In Monster Hunter, when the difficulty scales, the winners and the losers when it comes to weapon balance start to shine. You start to realize who the boys and the men are, basically. So as the difficulty scales up, the desire to use sticky ammo scales up. And that shows you right away what's balanced and what isn't balanced. Not sticky ammo. Sticky ammo's in too strong of a place right now. Although, what you could say is maybe the other weapons should just receive a buff. Like, I don't know, the Lance? I don't know. Maybe just the Lance. Oh, look at these Charge Blade Chads. I wonder why these guys aren't using the Lance. Maybe it's because Charge Blade does damage and already has a shield. Huh. Wow, crazy. It's almost like when you hit the Charge Blade while guarding, they can move into a guard point right afterwards. It's almost kind of like a counterattack weapon. Wow, so wild. It's almost like the Charge Blade has a lot of range on its attacks, too. Crazy that, isn't it? Pretty weird. I used to think the Lance was actually a weapon with a lot of reach. It's pretty average reach. A lot of the weapons have good reach. Just depends on what move you're using. TGC, will you be my best friend? Yes, Chumpy Weasel, you and I are best friends now. Sticky is easy, but it isn't powerful. No, actually, I would agree. I would say it's pretty powerful at this point, Doron, especially if you talk about it in terms of multiplayer. So, like in multiplayer, handing your team 3 knockdowns, that's a lot of extra damage. A lot of extra damage. Not to mention also the paralysis and the sleep. 150 damage per shot is weak compared to the other option. Bowguns have mounted. Well, yeah, if you're comparing it to other options, the bowguns have, sure. Yeah, you got Pierce, you got Spread, you got Elemental ammo. You have a lot of good options with the heavy bowguns, but if you're comparing it across melee weapons, it's really not too bad at all, especially because of how consistent sticky ammo is. So it's only 150 per shot. True. You don't have to soften, and you can shoot from half a mile away, and it's still going to land because of the unique range mechanics of sticky ammo, and then you just keep firing most of the time. You're really uninterrupted. All right. I want 2 shields. Oh my god, what if they had a 2 shield weapon like the Great Doors in Dark Souls? That would be hilarious, dude. A 2 shield weapon. Alright, let's see what people are trying to do. Golrathian and Raging Bracky. Ooh, nothing at all. Bread Moment says, I don't want to be bread. Too bad, you're bread now. Poof. Poof. Poof, you're bread. Is she going to give me a quest?
Oh, that reminds me. Take care out there.
Divine Surge. Okay. Interesting. Do you have a busted sticky build? I sure do. You better go look up my sticky build meta video on my channel. It's one of my best videos in the last month. Performed very well. People responded to it very positively. It is a very, very good bow build. It's pretty standard bow build. Sorry, bow build, I mean bowgun build. For the heavy bowguns, you'll want to know how to use that. Which weapon would you delete from Monster Hunter, not the Clutch Claw? The Lance. Well, and I only say that because it's in a bad position for needing a buff. So I would, if I had to get rid, if I was forced to, if Capcom was holding a gun to my head and said, you have to choose who lives and who dies, it would be the Lance because it's in a bad position right now. But maybe if they buffed it real hard and made it more fun as a defensive type of weapon, who would I get rid of then? Maybe one of the bowguns because they feel redundant. So you've got light bowgun and you got heavy bowgun. Now they're not 100% redundant. The light bowgun has Wyvern Blast, special ammo, and it has a different walk speed. So you can walk quickly, you can sheath quickly. But they actually do not feel that distinct. So for example, if the heavy bowgun could simply use Wyvern Blast ammo, it would be the light bowgun in many regards. If the heavy bowgun just gained access to the rapid fire elemental ammo, it would feel very much like the light bowgun. The only difference would be walk speed and sheath speed. So if there was ever a more redundant weapon in the game, it would be the light bowgun and the heavy bowgun. You could toss one of them out of the game and just play with one bowgun in the game. So, but beyond that, probably Lance. Lance is a very fun weapon, I'd say. The actual play style of the Lance is a lot of fun. But again, it's just kind of lagging behind the other weapons in my opinion. All right. Let's go ahead and see what people have posted. Join quest. Optionals. Master of the Gale. Let's do it. It's for Olivia. We're going to help Olivia. Master rank 0, high rank 66. Let's help him. Miguel says, this isn't Pokemon Crystal. That's right. We're playing some Monster Hunter. We'll probably play Pokemon Crystal late at night. That's kind of my playtime. That's when I do it. Look at this. Can't remember. What ammo type does best against? Oh, God. Oh, God. There he is. So it is Thunder. I think this would do it. Thunder ammo, and what else do we have? We have paralysis. We'll grab paralysis. That's nice to have. Alright, we're ready. Readying up. Depart on this quest. Oh, we didn't need to ready up. We just need to leave. Thoughts on a no Safi Kiara Salt Rage build. Thoughts on a no Safi Kiara Salt Rage build. I don't have any thoughts on it, John. King Katura says, I gave up on Pokemon since their whole structure has moved towards you have to own every game now to catch them all. Yeah, they're getting greedy, and it's okay, in my opinion, it's okay for game companies to ask for more money, but they need to be honest about it. I really do think so, and their product really needs to deliver. That's what I was trying to say there. I kind of tripped over that word. Yeah, their product really needs to deliver, and I feel like Sword and Shield has really fallen short of being a AAA title, but for many reasons. Poor quality online, no voice acting when it would be very easy to add voice acting into the game. The graphics are pretty underwhelming, which is funny because with underwhelming graphics, you would expect the multiplayer to be better, but nope. So you get bad graphics and bad multiplayer. Pretty sad endgame. I mean, you could go into the tournaments, I guess. Maybe I don't appreciate Pokemon endgame or something. The story was super linear, super boring. Your hand is held. You run in one straight line. Super uninteresting characters in that single player story mode. no really tough puzzles or anything, to be honest. Pokemon designs are, half of them are furries now, which I don't have anything against furries, but I don't consider Pokemon furries for the most part. I consider them Pokemon. And just in general, Pokemon design is really uninspired. They're run out of ideas because they've already used all the good ones. All the good ideas are used. So that's the problem with that. And then, yeah, and then they just get greedy and they're like, all right, well, we're going to split the decks up and force people to pay more money to have the whole decks. And it's like, all right, but don't lie to us about it, right? Don't lie to us about what you're doing, right? What weapon besides the lance do you think needs a buff? Great question. So if you were to ask me the second weapon that needs a buff, it would be the hunting horn, which is a topic we've talked about many times. I think that the hunting horn probably does okay in multiplayer, but that's mostly down to a calculation of handing out the attack up extra large, which I don't want to say that, yeah, my weapon's good because it hands out demon drug, you know, because that's what attack up extra large is. It's basically you giving out, you know, an extra demon drug to your team that can stack with demon drug. And I don't think that that's a way to call a weapon impressive, because it's so passive, it's so uninvolved when you do that, you know. It's not like, yeah, what does your weapon do? Oh, it uses Big Bang, mine gives out the demon drug, isn't that cool? You see what I'm saying? So it's just not involved enough in terms of like being active. It's more of a passive sort of thing. So I've talked about hunting horn, and these are the changes I propose. Hunting horn gets rid of the self-improvement buff so that it doesn't, like, look, I'm using the light bowgun. Do I need to use a self-improvement buff on my light bowgun before it does normal damage? No, it's already doing normal damage. Alright, so self-improvement buffs are a nuisance is what they are. They're a nuisance. And so I would like to be able to play the game without having to use that. The second thing is the attack up extra large buff, while it's very popular, what happens is it monopolizes which hunting horn you're going to use. Almost 100% of the time, you're going to choose the attack up extra large hunting horn for that extra bit of damage. So what I'm proposing is that the hunting horn either A, automatically gives out attack up extra large. So for example, let's say instead of getting rid of the self-improvement buff, they change it so that it also gives attack up extra large by default. Okay, so if hunting horn worked that way, so that every self-improvement buff on every hunting horn always gave out attack up extra large, you would never have to think about it again. You would never have to go, I can't use that hunting horn over here because it lacks attack up extra large. So I find that that's a very large problem for the hunting horns right now. You don't actually get to experience the horns as sort of like musical weapon, because you only use one song ever, attack up extra large, and now we have impact echo wave, which is terrific, by the way. I really like that one, but you don't really pick between the horns going, do I want earplugs, do I want health regen? You don't really make those choices. All you do is you kind of pick whichever one has attack up. So it monopolizes the weapon, and I think that's a bad situation for the horn. And I've talked about this issue where I would like to see the horn do more damage when you play solo with it, because I feel like, you know, it shouldn't be a weapon where you're like, yeah, it sucks in solo, but it catches up in multiplayer only because attack up extra large. I feel like those are the shortcomings of the hunting horn, and they could solve it. Other than that, I like that the moveset on the horn includes the new Note 4 and the impact echo waves. I think both of those, the impact echo wave, by the way, was something I was asking for in the base game, and they basically added it. I said they should have a hunting horn performance that's an attack rather than a buff, and that's exactly what the impact echo wave is, and I really like it. I think that hunting horn, similar to the gun lance, was one of the weapons that received some of the best sort of like changes in Iceborne. So I complain about counterclaw on the lance being just the clutch claw, because that's what it is. It's just the clutch claw. And then meanwhile, in the meantime, you've got this really other underplayed weapon called the hunting horn, and it gets Note 4, which is amazing, and it gets impact echo wave. So it sees these very real large improvements, and at this point, I would say it either get rid of the performance buff, because it just feels like monotony. It just feels like something you have to do, kind of like cold drink and hot drink. I'm not a big fan of those kind of things in games. So either get rid of the performance buff or change it so that it automatically gives up attack up extra large. And then in both cases, just eliminate the attack up extra large buff, get it out of the game, so that hunting horn players can focus on choosing a hunting horn that they think actually supports fighting a particular monster. Attack up extra large is too generic of a buff, is too good. Have you any good hunting horn builds for the PlayStation? Let's see. Probably not. Hunting horn and lance were two of my most played weapons during the base game. During Iceborne, they're two of my least played weapons, which matches more of what the weapon popularity list suggests. Let's see what hunting horns I have. I might have one on the... I might have one. So let's see. Yep, I've got the Safi Shatterhorn right here with Gold Raytheon Essence, Attack Melody. See, so on the Awakened abilities, I have to take Attack Melody because nothing is more important than giving out the Attack Up Extra Large buff to yourself and to your teammates. Nothing's more important than that for having this weapon perform about at the same level as the other weapons, but even then, it still kind of underperforms when you do an analysis of the hunting horn speedruns. Trenton says, landed a 6-figure job. Woo! Reiterated a lot of talking points mentioned in these chats, and I that made a huge difference in interview, so thanks. Hey, very cool. I'm glad to hear that, Trenton, and thanks for the tip, man. That's really cool. 6-figure job. They're out there. 6-figure jobs are out there, guys. You got to go for them, and if you don't have one now, your goal's got to be to climb the ladder, right? So glad to hear that, man. Keep going. Don't ever lose energy. Energy is the secret. Got to keep your energy high. All right, let's see. See, I got to help you guys get rich so that you guys can give me donations later in life. It's all part of the same. We'll shake hands on it. Crossing Way says, is hunting horn too slow? I wouldn't call it too slow. I would like to see a change to the performance where the moment you click right trigger to activate the performance, the buff is active. So, like, let's say I was having a heal buff on the hunting horn, like health large or whatever it's called. I'm trying to remember. And that's the move that actually heals your teammates. I shouldn't have to go through a whole dance before healing my teammates because it's not timely enough. It's too dangerous to wait that long to heal, especially if you need a heal. So if they just changed the way the performance worked so that the buff came out instantly, but you still have to go through all the same recovery frames, that would be an improvement to the hunting horn. It would be making the hunting horn stronger, and I think it would make the hunting horn more fun because you would be able to consistently get your buff out. You wouldn't have to stand there dancing around hoping that the monster doesn't decide to use a quick attack on you and interrupt it. You see what I'm saying? All right, let's join a quest. Investigation. Ruiner Nergigante. Oh, Olivia's fighting the same monster again. Huh. Let's join this ruiner. Got the call about an hour ago. 100,000 yearly salary or more is 6 figures. The hunting horn is a hammer that sings, says JV. Well, and that's the thing, JV. I feel like people who actually play the hunting horn a lot, really they avoid using the performance, except for in very specific moments. And this is because if you were to use the performance often, you would get easily punished by the monster because the performance locks you into this long recovery frames. They're not super long because you can roll out of them to cancel early, but they are kind of long if you're actually trying to activate the buff. So if you didn't have to activate the buff, you could, if the buff came out instantly, you could cancel out of the peak performance much earlier. See what I'm saying? And so this is why I think having the buff come out the moment you press the right trigger would be a huge improvement to the way that the hunting horn feels. Because if you decide, you know what, it's too risky to go through with the performance, then you could still get the buff out on time and then just cancel the performance animation, attack animation with the roll. So I think that would be a really large improvement to the way that the hunting horn feels when you're in the middle of a fight. Would it make it too strong? Hell no. The hunting horn wouldn't. See, I often wonder why Capcom doesn't implement these changes right away. And maybe it's possible it's just too much work for them to do it, which I find hard to believe. But I've considered maybe the other reason they don't do it is because they want weapon balance. But come on, man. This isn't like PvP. Just let us feel powerful. It's not such a big deal. That would be my feelings about this. This is not PvP. Just make the weapon feel good, please. You know what I mean? When you're using sticky ammo on a heavy bowgun and you just decimate your opponent in multiplayer, you just knockdown after knockdown after knockdown from KO. It's a great feeling, actually. People like that. It gets kind of boring when you do it too many times, but it is a good feeling. And what would be the big deal with letting the hunting horn feel a little more powerful by letting it have the buff come out instantly? Would it really mess the whole game up? It really would not. It would be very easy to implement. It would improve the feeling of the hunting horn. Yes, the hunting horn would be a little bit stronger, But it would be fine because the point of game design, remember guys, the whole point of anything you design in the game is to make the game feel fun. And when the game's not feeling fun because of something about the game, some mechanics, some design about the game, that's when you know it's time to make a change. That's when you know it's time to make an improvement. So it's like all the people who are mad at what I had to say about the Lance was like, I'm not asking for Capcom to actually get rid of the Lance. I'm asking for Capcom to make the Lance feel more fun. And the irony is that most of the Monster Hunter community secretly agrees with me. When we take a look at weapon popularity, you can see nobody's using the Lance. So everyone's super offended that I call for a buff on the Lance. Meanwhile, in private, the way people are actually voting with their playtime, everyone's voting the same way I'm talking about the weapon already. They're all essentially saying, I don't want to use this weapon. So you got all these people who don't even feel like using the Lance going, oh man, how could you criticize the Lance? It's like, I just want it to be more fun. Come on, man. It's not that hard. We've talked about that subject to death, though. There's a point where it's no longer fun to talk about it. James says, the puddles that buffs you and your teammates. How about a lava puddle that deals damage against the monster as long as it stands in it? Well, yeah, we were talking a little bit about that with my alchemist weapon idea, where you throw files like grenades and they leave a DOT AoE behind. Well, we could do that with the hunting horn too, couldn't we? Jesus says, hunting horn also allows you to have more mobility with movement up. Why don't they just have that in the hunting horn by default? Why do I have to use a self-improvement buff? You see, the self-improvement buff I find it monotonous and not very fun to activate. Palico says, people will be getting six-figure jobs, and I'm still here actively searching for a job after a year getting $200 per month from welfare. Oh, man. Shadow says, after a year of getting welfare. Man, you've been on welfare too long. Shadow says, can't wait to get to mastering 70. The silver Rathalos gears looks good paired with Bracky armor for my dual blade build. Jesus Leva says, the only problem with the sticky ammo is running out of blast nuts. Yeah, I mean, when you go to grow them in the garden, in the botanical research place, you get like 20 per slot, right? So I don't find that to be a problem at all. You get quite a lot of them. Jesus says, I don't work either. I'm on disability. Flame Fox says, hello, remember me from your Pokemon Crystal Live? How's it going, Flame Fox? We'll have more Pokemon Crystal late tonight, okay, Flame Fox? Probably about 12 hours from now, or 10 hours from now. Tyrion says, I feel like the biggest problem with Lance is it has so many mandatory decorations to work, guard up, guard, lifesteal, and just a worse heavy bowgun. Well, yeah, and those were exactly the points I was making. You need offensive guard just to do less damage than the other weapons. Isn't that the saddest part? You have this extra skill that you have to build into your weapon, and you still don't do as much damage as a longsword. That's the part that's frustrating for me. Meanwhile, the longsword's walking around with built-in Mind's Eye, built-in flinch-free, and the lance doesn't get built-in flinch-free on its basic move. The lance doesn't get built-in guard up on all of its guard attacks. Why is that so hard to understand for people? I don't understand why they find that offensive. I feel like that's a very fair point to make. Let's join another quest. So let's see, we got special assignment and my rage for all. So I still haven't really played with the hunting horn. We joined the Nergigante fight, and it ended before we started. Palico says, I meant looking for a job for a year, not being on welfare for a year. Oh, I see. You're looking for a job for a year. That's also not a good sign, man. You gotta get that energy. You gotta wake up, do your power pose, and get that energy, and then start applying like mad. Actually, when I ran away from home when I was real young, when I was 17, that was how it all started. Maybe it was sort of a necessity kind of thing. I realized I had to get a job, right, or I was going to be in a lot of trouble. And I just went to the library, and for the entire day, from the minute the library opened to the minute it closed, I did nothing but apply for jobs. And that's how I landed a basic job at Target, actually. I ended up getting hired at Target. It wasn't even a good job. It was just like a basic labor job. And by the way, when you're young, you pick up a labor job. It's really actually quite healthy for you because it makes you work out. So you get paid to work out, which is real good when you're young because you want to be attractive. You want to attract, like a partner and all that. Guy says, I'm struggling to get Legiana tail webbing. Poggers, hey, I managed to join. How's it going, Tangaku? That guy bragging about getting a six-figure job in chat is either a 12-year-old boy or a douchebag. Well, I wouldn't jump to any conclusions. I mean, you could be right. He could be lying, I suppose. But, yeah, there's no reason to jump to conclusion. Christopher says, sorry about that short fight, TGC. Yeah, that's right. You better apologize. What the heck? I didn't even get a chance to play. where did I run to? Nowhere, basically. I had no job and I had nowhere I could go. So it was summertime and I took a bike and I would ride the bike over to the library. I'd pedal over there because we get like 100-degree weather in Missouri. So I'd pedal over there and I would just stay at the library for the whole day, basically. Yep, just the whole day. And I would climb on the computers. And uh, back then, I still loved video games. And you would see kids at the library back then playing like RuneScape and stuff on the. Not me though, the whole day, because I was in this like I was in this almost like survival mode. I've got to do this. I've got to do this. I got to do this. No games for me for almost 2 years. Actually, I like completely stopped playing games. I had an Xbox. I had an old original Xbox, and it just went into like a brown grocery bag with the controller and the games. It just went up on a shelf. No games for me at all for like 2 whole years. I didn't even touch them, and it was just me working and applying for work. That's all it was. It's like it's a grind, it's a grind, just like doing your homework at school. It's difficult, it hurts. That's the thing, when people use a word like grind, the reason we have words like that is to describe this feeling where really what's going on is you have needs, you know what I mean? You have a need to relax and play games. You have a need to eat junk food, nice tasting food that puts you in a jolly mood, and you have a soda or whatever. But then you have like the world is asking for you to go out into the world and be productive and to solve problems and to change the world and to make things better. Well, your ability to ignore what your body is telling you need, like rest, your ability to ignore that and to focus on being productive is basically the difference between being able to have a nice job and a successful career versus kind of like being stuck on your couch at home, not really growing, not really having any kind of adventure in life, not really becoming wealthy, not really being attractive to the opposite sex. That's the one thing that's really keeping you apart from your goals. It's just the ability to go out there and be in pain. Yeah, it's painful. Really, it is. It's painful to be working all the time. But if you can ignore the pain, think about the guys who get like their huge buff bodies. How do they do it? Well, they just go and work out all day, and it hurts them. But when they're all done, they're strong. And most things in life are exactly like that. Just about everything in life is like that. I don't really think there's nothing in life that's like super easy. Nothing good in life. Isn't that the saying? Nothing good comes easy. Oh, and there goes my cat's trying to play with me now. Jim, thanks, man. I've been using Charge Blade for ages, but didn't get guard point. Thanks. I'll do that, man. Thank you for the encouraging words. It means a lot. I'm 20 and almost homeless, but I think it's about time for me to wake TF up and make my life better. For real, man. And life gets way better the further you go. So you got to have like a long run, sort of like long-term vision. You got to say, what is future me going to be talking to myself about? So 30 years from now, is future you going to be looking back at past you and be going, oh man, thanks for setting up life for me. You really did a great job. And this is kind of like something I had to learn to do for myself at some point. So because I didn't really rely on my parents to help me out in life, there was a point where I realized I kind of had to be my own parent. And that's kind of a big deal, because most of us just kind of lay around. I think before I was at that point in my life, I was just kind of waiting for my parents to tell me what to do. Like, I was just waiting for them to tell me, get a job, do this, do that, right? And once I had left home, I realized I don't have that anymore. I don't have that for the rest of my life. I don't have that because I'm not going to be hanging out with my parents. So I realized I kind of had to be my own parent at that point. And so what I do is I ask myself, what does future me want me to do? What would future me want me to do? Probably be a little bit healthy, probably have a sexy wife, probably have a good job, probably have a car and a house, right? Those are the things future you are going to judge you on someday. It's going to force you to challenge yourself to improve and to actually consider maybe you're not doing such a great job at the moment, which is kind of like that becomes an issue of self-esteem, because once you start judging yourself, it's very easy to get hurt feelings. But it's like, well, where do you want hurt feelings and no accomplishments, or do you want to challenge yourself admit that maybe there's a lot of things you can improve on, which is always true when you're young, by the way. I think when you're young, you've got zero accomplishments, lots of energy, and lots of time to start working on your accomplishments. But that's like the worst time to be lazy then, isn't it? It's the worst time to be lazy is when you're young. Lazy and coddled. Lazy and coddled, and of the belief that you're already doing well. Mommy's wiping your butt for you and telling you it's special or whatever she does. Oh, you're Heine's special. That's from Anchorman, right? You remember that scene? But anyways, yeah, so there was a very important part in my life where I realized I wouldn't get any sort of help from my parents, any sort of advice. And a lot of the time, I'm trying to think 30 years from now, what is 30 years from now, what is old me going to think of young me? And it's been a very good tool for helping me realize how I should set my goals and how hard should I be working, how much should I be. I have just a very clear vision of what I should be working on and how life should look for me in 30 years. And you have to believe that 30 years are going to pass. That's the other thing. So I find this is really a difficult one, especially for young people. I think young people, I know this because I realized I was unique at doing this. There weren't a lot of young people doing this at the time, and I would actually talk about the issue with my friends. My friends, they always liked my company because I would always talk to them about these kind of concepts. So I was a bit of a conversationalist. So it's not a surprise later in life I'm doing YouTube now, right? But I was a bit of a conversationalist, and I would often talk to them. I was like, are you thinking about the future? What are you thinking about? What are your plans? What do you plan to do 10 years from now? How about 20 years from now? How about 30 years from now? And I think for young people, sort of, that's so far in the future that they almost act like it's never going to happen. 30 years from now? What are you talking about 30 years from now? I won't even exist then. Yeah, you will. You definitely will. And almost too perfect of an example of how this is such an important concept. I've talked about my wife's parents' struggles with dealing with their healthcare bills and the fact that they actually inherited a lot of money, but they were not able to take care of their financial needs when it came to health, and how we've had to step in and spend a lot of our money trying to help them and help them manage like their ownership of the house and everything. Well, it's probably they weren't making the best decisions for themselves back then because they probably didn't consider someday we're going to be old. Someday it's going to be 30 years later. And people just don't think that way. People don't think, oh man, it's going to be 30 years later. It is. It's going to be 30 years later for all of us someday. Now, there's a lot of us in this chat, right? There's like 300 of us here. And some of us might die young to a car crash. But guess what? Probably like the vast majority of us, if not all of us, will make it to 30 years from now. And how are you going to be 30 years from now? You're going to be wealthy? You're going to be wealthy in the Bahamas, drinking a margarita, laying back in your sun chair, going, yeah, I got my millions, man. I worked hard. I saved up for the winter. I spent less than I earned. I struggled, to ignore my comfort needs so that I could use up my youthful energy, becoming wealthy, and now I get to kick back and enjoy life. Most of us just don't do that. Most of us don't think even further than like 3 years from now or 4 years from now. Most people don't like to think that way. They're like, what am I doing tonight? That's what most people do. They ask, what am I doing tonight? And it's just I think it's a very human mistake. I think it's a problem that most people struggle with. It's a human mistake. And people who are given a chance to think about the struggle, that sort of human weakness, that inability to see even just 100 years from now. Like, do you guys even think about what are your heirs going to be doing? What are your heirs going to be doing? What are your children's children's children going to be doing? People just don't think that far ahead. And it's actually a very bad thing, because what we know is you either believe the whole world's going to end in 30 years, or it really is going to happen. There will be 100 years later from now. And what's your plan for the people 100 years later? Is their life going to be better than yours? It should be. There's so many problems that can be solved right now. There's problems all over the world. There's problems in your life. Usually money problems, actually. Most people are not rich. But it's like the opportunity is there, and very often the reason you don't get rich is because of the choices you make in life. Not always. Some people are born into maybe like a developing country or even a third world country, so they just don't have the same opportunity. Maybe they're victims of a crime. Maybe something goes wrong for them that's not fair. But the vast majority of people have all the same opportunity to work extremely hard, read the same math book, read the same studies, educate yourself, try to open a business. We all have kind of the similar opportunities there's variation, but the opportunities are similar, and it's a matter of how hard did you apply yourself and how far into the future did you think, and how long were you able to resist the temptation of laying down and resting. How much can you take? How much work can you do? How much energy do you have? And I think going back to that subject of energy is so important. Somebody with a lot of energy is going to do well. That's why when we joke, we say like beta male, alpha male, but I've kind of moved the joke a little bit to say low energy, because if you're low energy, that's it. That's it for you. Somebody who has low energy, you're just not going to do things in life. You're going to be poor. I almost guarantee you're going to be. If you have low energy, you're going to be poor. I almost guarantee it. That if I had to predict the one human characteristic that will make you poor, it would be low energy. Low energy, you lay back, you complain about people. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I don't like that. By the way, that's what people with very low, kind of like control in their life do. Very low control, very low power. They kind of just sit back and complain about other people who are usually more successful than them. So that's usually what you do if you're not having a lot of power in life. Since it's all you can do. This is something I learned back in like business. Back when I was going to school for business, I was learning about management styles. I was learning about problems that you run into with problem employees. And a type of problem an employee is one who just does a lot of negative back talking and all that. And it turns out usually it's because there's a employee who wishes to have more power and more control over the business, but since they can't have it, their only tool is to complain. So that's where you get complainers from. Anyways, my only concern in the future is the opportunity for entrepreneurship venues. Trust me, there's always opportunity for business. There's so much. It's such a large, big world with so much going on in it. You just have to get out there, man. You an MD? I don't know what an MD is. This guy talking about resisting the temptation of resting while putting thousands of hours into Monster Hunter. King says, money should have spend responsibility, low energy, and small PP. Ugh. Well, like, okay, let's be honest for a second. Seriously, your PP size doesn't matter either. None of that matters. But your energy matters a lot. I'm about to die. Am I okay? I'm okay. Your energy matters a lot. If you're a low energy, you gotta figure out right away, how do I hype myself up? How do I wake up you guys have probably experienced this. Have you ever experienced a morning where you just wake up and you're just loaded with energy? You just have all the energy, you know? You feel powerful in the morning. You just wake up and you're like, I could do anything. I can move a mountain. But if you could feel like that every day, all the time, you just end life wealthier. That's all there is to it. You will be wealthier later in life because it's not low energy people who get all the work done. It's high energy people who get all the work done. And you know, earning money very often is about how long you can stay high energy before you get old. And you know, you're getting old and you're getting fat and you're getting tired and you don't stay high energy as long. And that's what happens too. It's not like it's your fault. That's just part of life. The older you get, the less of that you have. So you have to use it while you have it. Let's smack this guy on the leg. Ooh, he didn't like that. PP is the only thing that matters. I mean, you know, same with the people. You hear a lot of guys complain about like maybe like height, right? But I'm pretty sure the average CEO is not that tall. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. I'm pretty sure Vladimir Putin, yeah, he's a powerful guy. I don't think he's that tall. There's a lot of just regular height guys who, it turns out what makes them powerful is what's between their eyes. Your brain makes you powerful, not your height, not your PP size. Your brain. Your brain is what's making you powerful. You are your brain, right? That's the entirety of you. Is what's between your eyes. I marry a Christian girl, so when she sees your small PP, it's too late. I love it. It's too late. It's too late for me. And he's gone. Nice job, guys. It's too late. It's the strategy, life strategies. How tall is Putin? That guy definitely looks short. Now I'm curious. Vladimir Putin. Maybe he's tall and I'm wrong. Height. How tall is the tallest world leader? How tall is the president? How long will Putin be president? How tall is Vladimir Putin? Oh my god. Putin is only 5'6"? Is that actually true? He also uses shoes with hidden wedge heels at official arrangements to look taller. These add 3 and 6 centimeters to his height. Oh my god, this dude's short. "5'8", maybe? What? Oh my god, Angela Merkel's taller than him. I didn't know that. And he does. He's got special... There's a picture of him wearing these special shoes that clearly have heels. Whoa. I did not know that. You know, it's funny when I brought it up. I just had a feeling he wasn't that tall. I didn't actually know the official height. That's crazy. Smiling says, "You'll be surprised how many women I met that didn't want a man because he wasn't 6 foot like me. Walked out on that first date quick." Tuxie says, "All I know is that he's terrible at playing piano. Girlfriend, boyfriend, only Putin has no end." Exodus says, "Thanks for the help. No problem, man." Ask OS says, "The average height of CEOs is actually taller than average." Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Doom Eternal hat. That's right, guys. You better be taller, you'll fail. Putin is no short in the pants. Oh my god. I'm a 6 foot Asian teenager, but I'm ugly, so it doesn't work. Well, Marco says, "Do you ever think that non-power of the lance can be a benefit for the game? Maybe it will not be balanced, but why should it be?" No, I think, Marco, that the weapon popularity figures pretty well describe the lance as a weapon that people are not playing, and I don't consider that good. Hey, don't poke at Putin. I'm 5'3", and yes, I'm a dude. Miguel says, "The hobby is growing and will most likely stay." Oh, we're talking about Pokemon cards? "Soviet Special Forces would like to know your location." Oh my god. Vladimir Putin. Let's help out Olivia with today's special, Hunter Flambe. Alright, and we'll grab manage items. We'll grab some fresh stuff here. Hunter Flambe. Did I already miss the part where he told the Lance players to delete their games? That's right. What? Oh my god. Average height of CEOs. 6 foot 0 inches. Approximately 2.5 inches taller than the average American man. Oh, okay. Well, so apparently they are taller than average. But think about that, though. Exactly 6 foot. It said the average height was 6 foot 0 inches. Which means that there's plenty of shorter CEOs. That's my interpretation of it. You know what I mean? Alright, let's depart. So to sum it up, to be successful, you need big dick energy. No, you just need big energy. Energy. Keep your energy high. You know, wake up with a plan, with a goal, right? All those are important. Yeah, you gotta be like SpongeBob, right? SpongeBob wakes up in the morning and he's super excited to go to the Krusty Krab. He's a great employee, I'm sure. But then he just needs to be a little sharp in the mind and be like, how do I move up the chain, you know? But he's got the energy when he wakes up. He's actually a great role model for working hard. Not that I thought of him as a role model, but I always thought it was funny that they depicted him that way, because so many people are not like that when they talk about going to work. So many people are like, I've got to go to work. It's like, bro, you got a job. You got to be happy that you have a job, and you got to go in it, and you got to crush it. You got to crush it. I've met a lot of people at work, at the jobs that I did have, that were so negative about their jobs, and I get it. It's a grind. Again, it's kind of all about suffering, isn't it? It's all about how much pain can you endure. But it's also is like your access to becoming wealthy later in life, wealthy and successful. Your attitude ends up playing a big part of your. What the hell? Did you see that? He like launched me or something. What are your ideas for buffing the lance? I think that the lance could have built-in guard up. And I think that it should, at the very least, the lance should have built-in, oh, I'm sorry, not built-in. At the very least, the lance should have a damage buff. That's very least that they should do. Damage buff. Brah! Choop. Shock trap. Ah, it's nice fighting old Devil Joe. He's actually kind of a less annoying fight because his movement patterns are like more predictable. Whereas the new one, Savage Devil Joe, he's just so rough that it's kind of like, oh god, you can't really approach him ever. Oh my god, none of it landed. The land should have a built-in tactical nuke. How do I grind decorations with the only base game? The names Lavasia and the Greatest Jagras are the best ways. Ouch. Did I knock him over there? Oh my god. Oh my god. Can't even get close. Where you going, big boy? Oh. Guess I'm not allowed to do that either. Okay. Oops. What did I just do? I think I'm used to playing with the Xbox. What base game decorations should be sought after? Crit boost, weakness exploit, crit eye, health boost, divine blessing, focus, maximum, I don't know, maximum might maybe, agitator, what others? Crit eye, I already mentioned crit eye, attack boost to a smaller degree. The good ones. How do I say the good ones? Boop. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. That moment a monster is knocked over from unexpected damage. Did I actually do something? How's it going, guys? Cheers to big energy, short height, and small PPs. I mean, if you can have a big PP, that's nice too, right? It's a bonus. Dude. Oh no. Oh no. I noticed your Pokemon live streams have a lot of ads. I wonder why, says John Tider. Oh, that's interesting, because I can tell you the Pokemon live streams do not have a lot of ad revenue. A Pokemon live stream ad revenue will be maybe about $2. So, that is interesting. Grab you. Smack you. Oh my god. Help, I'm pinned down. What the hell? Oh, did we just knock him over? No, we got him. Oh, we had the same idea. Oops, that's Trevor. Great job. Ease mode. Some bone weapons with a bit of black hide on it. What? What are we talking about? The frick you say to me? By Pokemon live streams, I mean the Game Boy game and not the card channel. Oh. Oh, I don't know what the ad revenue on those were. I figured that the ad revenues for those were bad. Let's go see. Ah, I'm sure it was bad. If they were good, actually. There's kind of like an overall view of the channel I get, and ad revenue on this channel has been down by 50%. So there's no way that those were doing well. Yeah, according to the overall ad revenue, it's down even further. Let's see. So, the last Pokemon stream got 2,200 views. And ad revenue has not even been calculated. Oh, here it is. The ad revenue on my latest Crystal video made $6.75. How about that? Oh, snap. Are we lagging? About butchering the Elytrian weapons. What? Did they butcher them? I haven't seen them yet. I don't want to see them. I don't want to see them until he comes out. GC, we are talking about Capcom butchering the Elytrian weapon designs. Are we? The new Elytrian weapon designed with bone weapons. James Dice says, I mean the new Elytrian weapons with bone weapons. What? Trenton says, I want to, but I watch on PlayStation 4. I've counted anywhere from 8 to 11 ads. What? Reckless says, is session full? Need an immortal reactor and randoms keep dying? Question mark. The session might not be full, but the live stream is reaching its 2-hour point. Is the Lance channel gone? No, the Lance channel is in the Discord just like normal. So it's in the weapon channels part. You have to scroll down. All the weapon channels are the lower part of the Discord. That's right. $6.70 to be specific. If you want to know the ad revenue on that. Big money. Oops, that's gone. What do you got? What did you just walk away with? I don't see it. A sandwich? Ice cream sandwich? Yeah, ad revenue is destroyed due to COVID-19. But at the same time, since it's down over 50%, what I would have gotten is about $13, I guess. So I would have made $13 ad revenue in the past before COVID. I would have made $13 ad revenue on that Pokemon Crystal playthrough. Rudge says, why not? Question mark. So there's really not much ad revenue in live streams. But you guys are generous. You guys, occasionally there's a donation. And usually that just makes up for it in the end. I'm playing GU lately and coming back to Iceborne. I see myself having a completely different playstyle. That's kind of cool, being HR 900-ish. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying you like learn stuff from GU. That's cool. That's cool. All right, nobody has anything posted here. Let's see if we can join an SOS if somebody needs help. Let's help B-Blade Cool, huh? He's fighting Blizzard Blitz Barrieth with the Defender chainsaws. We're going to give him a hand. They're called YouTube pre-rolls? Let me look it up. Yeah, apparently. I don't know. I didn't see anything interesting about it. Have the chef's choice platter. $6 whole. Yep. YouTube ad revenue is so good. Ooh, I got an email. What's this? Ooh, PSA contacting me. Review order. PSA has been grading my cards faster lately. We have a PSA return in today's. So after this live stream's over, I'll be jumping over to my card live stream, and we have something today called a PSA returns. Basically, you take your cards off to a professional. You send them off to a professional grading company. They grade the card. They slab it, meaning they put it in a plastic holder. They send it back, and your card's worth a lot more. Today's PSA return. The value of the cards we have being returned today, I'm valuing them at about $8,000. So you guys might want to see that one. It's pretty cool. There's some really rare old cards returning. King says if they demonetize you, they will still run their ads on your videos, but they run them even if they don't demonetize you, just not all the time. I hope we get an Electron release date soon. TGC, how did you feel when you got married? It was a good feeling. With marriage, you know, there's a lot of emotions packed into marriage, I feel like, and we get a lot of our ideas about marriage from television. We get a lot of our ideas about marriage from Hollywood, and you get all these romantic The Notebook, right? All this garbage. But the real world is a lot less fantastic. The real world is a lot more pragmatic and just real, right? So when it came to marriage, my wife and I, we had been together for a long period of time already, and we just hadn't gotten married yet because, well, she doesn't get along with her family too well. They're kind of odd, her family. And then my family is non-existent. I just don't have them. And neither of us have a bunch of friends to invite to a wedding. So we had discussed multiple times getting married, and we just kind of put it off. Maybe part of it was a little bit of procrastination. So we procrastinated a little bit as well. But we finally did get married, and it was the most quiet possible type of marriage. It was just me and her, literally. There were no witnesses. The court actually provides you witnesses. And we got married in a courthouse. And the feeling after it was done, well, first of all, it feels great because it's like, you don't have to work on it anymore. We didn't go on any kind of honeymoon. Neither of us had any sort of expensive outfits. Neither of us had a reception. There was no dancing. None of those things. Basically, we spent about $50 on our wedding. And we promised ourselves that instead of having a reception and all that stuff, that we would go on a really fantastic honeymoon. And we've still planned to do that. But part of the reason that we got so married the way we did, so abruptly and so unceremoniously, is because at the time, her mother was being treated for cancer, and we figured, you know what, we might as well get married now so that, because life's moving on, basically, both for her parents and for us. And we're like, we have to get this done already, because basically we thought it's possible that her mom could die and she wouldn't even get to see us be married, you know what I mean? Like, she was in India at the time getting treatment because they couldn't afford treatment in the U.S. So anyways, we got married very quickly that way, and it was super private, and it was super nice. Having it be so private actually takes a lot of the pressure off of the marriage, off of the ceremony. We did very cheap rings because we talked about rings. And it was like, what is the ring company? I mean, what is the ring corporations? You know, people who buy and sell rings, and we just kind of realized rings were this superficial thing. It's this little chunk of metal that you buy because you're told you have to buy a little chunk of metal. You spend like $2,000 on it, and then you lose it, and you don't even wear it. Like, neither of us wear rings now. So we didn't buy rings. We didn't buy anything. We didn't do any consumerism. There was no consumerism involved in our wedding. And then we received the marriage license. It was an awesome feeling. There was a judge who did the vows. He was a pretty cool guy. I've never met a judge in life, so he was very judgely. And it was just very quiet. What about the Zenogre gun for spread, like the tank spread builds? Zenogre. Yeah, the Zenogre heavy bowgun is like still the best craftable spread ammo heavy bowgun. It was a pretty big thing when political channels would not be allowed to make any monies from the videos, but tons of ads would still be ran by YouTube. Oh, really? Very interesting. They were dubbed YouTube pre-rolls because they are pre-chosen ads from YouTube that they want to promote across platforms for various things. Symphonia says, why is marriage something you have to do? You know, I think it's something that comes about naturally. Marriage does. I think that people realize maybe the most basic form of family unit is one man, one wife, and then children, because that's what it takes to make children. It takes a guy and a girl. You know, it doesn't take like two guys and a girl or two girls and one guy, right? It's just one guy, one girl, and a baby gets made out of that. So I think that is sort of just something that occurred naturally, and at some point governments decided that it was their business to get involved with marriages because, you know, it actually is important for governments to make sure that people are having babies, which nobody does anymore. So they sort of made it their business to keep track of marriages and to give you tax breaks to encourage you to bump uglies and make babies. They're like, oh, you got dependents? Here, let us give you a tax break for that too. So governments want you to have babies because governments need workers. Governments need people. If there's no people being born, then there's no society. Society just disappears quite literally. Quite literally. No babies, no government, no people. So babies are important. Arson says, I'm not a ring man myself. I always fiddle with ring when I try to wear one. Well, you know, I've thought about getting a ring that's based on fashion. But rings for marriage, it really is just another form of consumerism. You're just buying this thing that if you weren't getting married, you probably would never buy. So let me ask you a question. If you were never getting married, would you buy yourself a diamond ring for $2,000 to just wear all the time? The vast majority of people will say no. Most people will probably only spend like $500 to $200 on a ring. I'm sorry, not $500, $50 to $200 on a ring. They wouldn't spend $2,000 just to have a little see-through rock. Yeah, diamonds are forever. This is $2,000. It's a huge ripoff. It's part of the wedding sort of like consumer. The whole thing is just like a system for sucking money out of you. But it's supposed to be a big party, right? And it wasn't a big party for me and her for multiple reasons. But part of it is we don't actually like big social gatherings in the first place. We actually, I think both of us were quite happy to have it be finished, you know, to be able to say we're done, and not worry about all the pressures of having like 50 people there staring at you going, oh yeah, they're gonna fuck later. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, they're definitely gonna fuck. You know what I mean? So it was actually, in a lot of ways, it was nice that it was so private, and we saved so much money that we didn't even have. Who's got money to get married anymore? So you got a home that cost $1 bazillion. You got student debt. We've got student debt now. You got student debt. You got a home. You've got a car payment. You've got healthcare is pretty expensive these days, right? So there's so much to spend money on, and you're buying yourself like a stupid thing that you wear on your finger for $2,000. Who's still dumb enough to be buying these things? Well, people do, because guess what? They do it in Hollywood. They do it on the TV. Your parents maybe tell you you're supposed to do it. Your friends are like, how big is your ring? You know, how big of a ring did he buy you? That kind of shit. And it just, the truth is, if you want to have a successful marriage and you want to have actual real wealth is having $2,000 in the bank, not having a little see-through rock that doesn't do anything. It doesn't earn you money. It's just a liability. If you lose it, you lose all your money, right? It's a liability. Whereas having a $2,000 in Google stock, those actually earn you money over time. So yeah, we avoided a lot of the sort of the consumerist pitfalls of marriage, and we're still together today. We've been together, like I said, for 8 years almost. But why do you have to get married? Tax benefits, I guess. And also, when you divorce, she gets to take all your stuff. She's going to take half my Pokemon. Going back to the biblical days, marriage was a way to transfer property or obtain property through families. Precisely. Yes, marriage was originally not meant to be what it is today. It's turned into a totally different thing. And women were basically treated like property. Marriage tattoo is much worse. Marriage tattoo is much worse. YouTube should put a discount on premium if you have to see one more pro-Trump ad. Bacon, you getting pro-Trump ads? I have never seen a pro-Trump ad. Although, I do remember making a lot of ad revenue when the one, what's his name? Bloomberg, when he was running for president, and there was a million Bloomberg ads. I was making so much ad revenue back then. My ad revenue was like up 20%. It was wild. I wasn't even working harder than normal. I was just like, I'm just making my usual videos, but I'm making like 20% more. So my job is actually very sensitive to whether or not companies are buying ads. It's a tax business relationship through government. Yeah, basically, and this is a big problem. Give your loved one stonks, not rings. Well, yeah, you know, you tell your wife, look, we're not going to buy either rings. We're going to put $4,000 into Google stock, and when we're old and you need help with your cancer, we're going to be okay because we bought stock and we didn't touch it for 20 years. So that's, you know, it's not as sexy as Hollywood. But think about Hollywood. Hollywood, back in the day, Hollywood, everyone was smoking a stupid cigarette. They still do. They still do, you know, like Stranger Things. There's all these scenes where people are smoking, if you didn't notice. I get it. It's like a time capsule sort of video, but sort of movie. But the thing is, people still find that attractive. Like, to watch people smoke. It's this sort of, oh man, he's cool. He's dangerous. He's edgy. He smokes. But that's Hollywood in a nutshell. It tells you not the best way to live life. It just tells you whatever it is you're going to stare at on a screen. Oh man, you stare at porn, man. That doesn't mean that porn's good for you in your real life. Right, so you gotta be careful with getting all of your information from your television. I think my wife and I did very well not buying the rings, not buying the marriage ceremony, not buying all these things. They don't make you love each other more. Isn't that the weird thing? It's not like there's plenty of people who have huge weddings who then later discover they hate each other. You see what I'm saying? Later discover that you're both terrible at relationships and want nothing to do with each other. So it's like, it doesn't matter how big your party is. What matters is, did you stay together 20 years later? Not 20, but for the rest of your life, which is what a marriage is supposed to be. Marriage is supposed to be kind of like this contract where you're staying together for the rest of your life. That's the whole concept of it. And nobody really, I don't know what people think of it these days. Don't do it. They're like, stay together. I can stay together till she's 35, and then when she starts getting fat, I'm out of here. You see what I'm saying? It's no wonder women want to be feminists. It's just like the MG Tao guys. When you get mistreated, you end up becoming resentful. That's just how it works. It's always going to work that way. What else do you invest in? Any opinions on Ford, GE? Trenton, at this point, I invest in one thing. I'm putting it all into Pokemon cards. Is it risky to put all your money in one thing? It is. But if your assessment was correct, then you also make more money on that risk. So, for example, back in the day when Amazon stock cost nothing, you could have bought only Amazon stock, in which case you're really making a gamble that Amazon's going to be super successful. Or you could have bought a few Amazon stock, a few gold stock, or not gold stock, you could have bought a few pounds of gold, you could have bought, you know, a few in Microsoft, a few in this, a few in that. So if you think something's going to do really well, you could put all your money into it too, but it's riskier to do that, right? And right now I'm putting all my money into Pokemon cards. We'll see if it was a smart move 10 years from now, or even a few years from now. Maybe on this channel I'll do an update on my card collection and show you how much it's grown. Oh good, he's asleep. Fourth hunter, please, says Chris. Good. I sold off all my stock to buy Pokemans. I'm from Turkey, says Yusuf. Hello, Yusuf from Turkey. I'm from Brazil. Tuxie Cape says, what I hate is that Hollywood tells people on how to live and saying that our government is bad. Tuxie says, even though they have so much money that they can get really anything. Right, they live in a bubble. They live in a financial bubble where everyone loves them. They live on a beach in California. They're millionaires. And their whole job is working out, looking sexy, probably having tons of sex, if I had to guess, and then just being paid millions of dollars to make facial expressions. So they're not the best people to get advice from. Most people are nowhere near that, and they need different kinds of advice. HA says, what degree should I pursue the most if I ever go to college? HA, if you go to college, you should think about, what do you have a natural passion in? What is the market asking for? And what do you do better than other people? Okay, so if you recognize throughout being a child that there were these behaviors that you tended to gravitate toward that other children didn't gravitate toward. Like, for example, one of the reasons that my friends liked me is because I was good at talking. I ended up going to school for computer science because I love video games. And in the end, I became a guy who plays video games and talks a lot. So actually, it all kind of came together, See what I'm saying? So try to find what it is you tend to do more than other people and tend to do better than other people. And ask, how does that translate to the market? What does the market need right now? But I can tell you some degrees are very conservative, low-risk degrees that have a very good chance of paying out and making you wealthy. So if you're just interested in money, finance degree is a really, 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 really good choice. I've done some recent research on it. There was a question, how do you break into the upper classes of society? And one degree does it more than other degrees. Finance degrees. It does better than doctorates. It does better than engineers. It does better than everything. And the reason for that is when you're just learning how to do money and how to get insanely wealthy, that ends up being the thing that launches you into the upper class. Isn't that funny? So it's like a doctor will earn $300,000, $400,000 a year, but before they reached that point, they went to school for 8 years, and then they had there's a term for it where they have to be like an apprentice for a while, and that could take like another 3 years. And so it's been 11 years of them not fully earning 400,000 yet. And also, how much you earn as a doctor is determined by what field you went into. They don't all pay as much. And then so you've spent all these 11 years finally becoming a doctor, and now you get to pay back your student debt. And you're never really earning a whole lot more than 400,000. A financier is done in 4 years. They can go into financial advising. They could go into accounting. They could study the stock market, invest really well their whole life. They can become a hedge fund manager. That's possible. There's all this kind of opportunity when it comes to being a money handler because you're at the root of the thing that makes you wealthy. And so finance degree is a really fine degree for people who think they have more of a general skill in life. But if you're hardworking and you can do math and you can sell and you're generally competitive, I think that finance is a really good choice for anyone. I would tell my kid to go get a finance degree. So finance degree, anything with technology in it at this point, because technology is such it's a harder job to be gotten rid of, is a solid understanding of like how does programming work, how does the internet work, how does network security work. How do businesses need technology? What is the future of technological sales? So technology, finance, medicine still, I mean, look at the need right now for medical workers because of COVID-19. The pay and the hours available for medical workers must be astronomical right now. Here, Shen wants help with Furious Rajang. Let's go join him. So medicine, technology, and finance are all really strong options if you're just looking at what's looking really good. He says, help me with Furious Rajang. You don't have it posted. Those are all really strong options. When I was doing my research about student debt, did you know that two of the most common degrees that people are going for that they never really pay back are history, so don't go after a history degree, and psychology. So people go for a psychology degree not really understanding that they're not really going to be paid well until you get more of like a doctorate in psychology. You have to go for a full doctorate, become a doctor, become a psychiatrist, become a psychological I don't remember the terms for all the different jobs, but the point is you don't really become a wealthy psychologist very easily. In fact, most of them have to go for at least their master's degree, and then you just get an okay paying psychology job. It's not even as competitive as other medicine jobs I've heard. And so avoid psychology, avoid history. Most people already know to avoid other degrees like philosophy degrees, dead language degrees. By the way, you could just go to school to learn like 4 languages fluently and get a degree in international business. You could get international business and learn a few languages. That would be an exciting life, and you'll probably have lots of opportunity out there just from that. So, I mean, but finance is probably at the top of my list for business degrees. Go for finance, learn how to do accounting, learn basic economics, learn how to trade and sell stocks, learn all the verbiage for insurance and for stocks and for the laws surrounding what you're allowed to do for those. Oh, and law degree. I'm sorry, I forgot about law degrees. So law degrees are still good. They're expensive, just like becoming a doctor. But for a lot of people, I think that they aim too low. I think you guys, very often, you think going to school is about what can I get that's easy to obtain and pays me $50,000 to $60,000 a year. Those degrees are becoming increasingly over demanded, increasingly diluted, increasingly unimpressive. So a lot of people wake up and they don't say, how can I change the world? How can I be a doctor? How can I take my skills to the limit? People don't wake up and say that. People just kind of go, what can I do that's easy? Because your whole life's been easy. You live in America. Mommy and daddy have been wiping your butt for you this whole time. You've never felt real pain in life. You're scared to feel real pain in life. You've never had a test that could kill you. You've never had anything so dangerous you could die from it. And you don't want it to change. You want it to be that safe all the time. You need to really ask yourself, how am I putting my skills to the limit? How can I become my best self, my most useful self for society and for me? And the better you are at doing that, the more money you'll end up making. And we do want to make money. We want to go up that hierarchy. Well, the hierarchy exists for a reason. It exists because you're more useful to society than somebody else is. Hey, that's not equality. That's not equality. So I should not apply for Italian degrees since it's a language that is dying. Well, if you want to be real about it, probably a degree in the countries that are having the most GDP is probably a clever idea. So, example, if you could speak several dialects of Chinese fluently, and then you took your degree in international business, something tells me you're going to have a lot of job opportunities. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of business that gets done with China. And if you can speak, let's say, English, Spanish, and Chinese, you're probably going to do really well. SOS missions don't really have anything good. You got a lot of good life advice. Thanks, man. I'm TheGameconomist. You get all the life advice for free. You know what's the best thing about this? You know what the best thing about this live stream is? The information is totally free. You didn't even have to go into student debt to hear me talk about these things. You can even hit that like button. It is free, huh? So there it is right there. Hit that button. No, I'm just kidding. Marco says, actually, I don't know how much the like button actually helps. I think that the most important metric is whether or not you're still watching. Likes are more about your, more of an ego thing. Like, yeah, I get those likes. King Katura says, I'm anti-school, pro-self-teach, unless you have enough money to not go into debt to go to school. Yeah, that's the saddest part, is if you had enough money to just pay for the school outright, you would just be wealthier in the end because you never paid interest on the student loan. So it's kind of like the wealth get wealthier kind of thing, the poor get poorer. If you're so poor you have to pull out a student loan, you're going to pay interest on it for the rest of your life, like I'm doing right now. If you are already wealthy, you just buy it outright, and then you also don't have to pay interest. That also is true for when you're buying a home. It's also true when you're buying a car. It's true for everything. So if you are already a millionaire buying the same exact things that you're buying right now as a poor person, you would have more money in the end just by the virtue of you not having to pay interest. So it's silly, but that's also why we have a progressive tax rate. We have a progressive tax rate because the system recognizes that's not necessarily fair, and so if you're poor in America, you pay less taxes. So it's a kind of we try to balance it, and a lot of the conversation between the conservatives and the liberals is how much socialism is the right amount of socialism, how much of a welfare net is the correct amount of a welfare net. Trenton says, I went into medicine and ended in insurance, a field I have no education in. Yep, people sell insurance all day long. It's a profitable business. Insurance is a very profitable business, and that's because, in the past, so a lot of people hate insurance so much that they say the government should just get rid of insurance. And for a little while, I was like, maybe they're right. But I thought about it more in the past, and my opinion is that no, there is a need for insurance. So insurance is a very old business. It's been around for a long time. You used to be in Britain, and there's all this, did you see him fall to the ground? There's all this business that needs to be done, and the business back then is done by boat. So you take these big sailboats out and with the sails on them and everything, and you will ship an item out. halfway across the world, and it would take like 3 months for it to arrive, and the boat might capsize, it might be attacked by pirates, real life pirates who are there to kill you and take your cargo. And so what would happen is these businesses would pay an insurance person. Back then, they'd pay for insurance. Oh no, that's going to hurt. They'd pay for insurance to have a chance to be able to have that boat be covered by the insurance. And the person who does the insurance, they would pay a bunch of money on a gamble of whether the boat capsized or not. If the boat capsizes, the insurance guy loses. If the boat doesn't capsize, the insurance guy wins. So he's basically somebody who pays you money. I'm sorry, he doesn't pay you money, who makes money on things going well. Okay, when things go well, the insurance agent makes money. The problem with insurance today is that there's so many actually highly skilled actuarians and mathematical models to ensure that the insurance companies have more knowledge about risks than you do, that you're not able to do very good shopping, are you? So if you and the insurance company knew exactly the same amount of information, then you would probably be able to shop around for insurance that makes sense and ask for much fairer prices. But the insurance companies have all the knowledge and information that you don't, and so they know how to price gouge you, and so you just pay like Goku amounts of money for them to give you a product you didn't need, which is why insurance companies make so much money. If a company is making record profits, it means that you and I are overpaying for the service. That's true for healthcare. That's true for Walmart. You guys ever think about this? You know, Walmart manufactures everything in China, right? This is something I've been thinking a lot about lately. Okay, so this is the kind of stuff I've been spending my thoughts on. You go over to China, you can have some stupid product manufactured for like 15 cents. And then they bring it over here to America in a big boat, and they charge you $40 for it. You pay for it. And I actually had a guy who wanted to do a sponsorship with me recently. He reached out. He wanted me to sponsor this. He called it minimalistic wallet and knife design. And he sells like pocket knives and he sells wallets. And I'm like, who manufactures this for you? It's just some Chinese company manufactures it for him. And I've been doing all this research on how much money it costs to manufacture stuff in China. They manufacture it for literally nothing. Like, I'm not kidding you, probably $1 to 15 cents. So they manufacture it for nothing over there. And then they just slap an American English title on the thing they're selling. Yeah, look at this pocket knife, it's so good. And then he puts a $100 price tag on it, and because the price tag's so high, you think, oh, this must be so high quality. Oh, you associate sort of like, you associate this sort of premium price with the object you're buying because the price is so high. So you're paying all this money for this garbage thing made across the world for people who created it for virtually no cost at all. And this is why you have companies like Apple that are so insanely profitable. It's because they're manufacturing everything in a country where it costs pennies to make. But you and I don't buy it for pennies, do we? You and I buy it for the premium price. So increasingly, I wish more people would become aware that the stuff they're buying on Amazon, the stuff they're buying from Microsoft, the stuff they're buying from Apple, the stuff they're buying from Walmart, you can buy it directly from Walmart right now. I'm sorry, not Walmart. You can buy it directly from China right now for like pennies on the dollar. And you're just not smart enough to shop around at the right websites to find it. So you guys need to go find out, how do I stop buying things from Walmart and how do I buy it directly from China? That's what you guys need to figure out. Because you're making Walmart insanely wealthy because Walmart knows how to get you to buy Chinese goods. You're buying Chinese goods. We all are. We're buying Chinese goods all day, every day. And it costs nothing to buy it straight from China, but you bother buying it from the middleman, and this is what kills you. So this is what I've been learning about recently. You buy everything from China where it's like $1. I'm sorry, you don't, but the people who resell it, like Walmart, they buy it from China for like $1, 15 cents, and then you buy it for $20 like an idiot because you don't know anything about Chinese trade. You don't know anything about it. So your lack of knowledge about China is why you overpay for it by like 200, 300, 200,000%, whatever it is, right? We're talking about like the iPad, all the parts are made in China for nothing, for dirt, dude. And then you just pay for it for so much, it's insane. And then these companies report like record profits. How are they doing it? Well, they're doing it because they paid almost nothing for the product, and then they sold the product to you for insane prices. King Katura says that's because America allows them to use free shipping to the U.S., expand China's infrastructure, but you have to be a Chinese citizen and company. Tyler says, Barrios, that depends. I think degree involved in technology would definitely be more down that route. Trent says, this reminds me of those William Painter's sunglasses with the NASA-grade metals that can also pop beer cans. China equals COVID. Tyler says, also, as I said, that market is so saturated that you really need to be at the top of your crest. Anyways, my point is, the shoes you're buying at Walmart, you could buy them straight from Target. Straight from, why am I messing up the names? You can buy them straight for China for 15 cents. But you buy them at Walmart for 25 bucks like an idiot. And the thing is, with the internet, it's easier than ever to buy your goods straight from China. That's your homework assignment. You guys need to go learn how to buy goods straight from China and totally cut Walmart out. It would be hard to do this, but try to start cutting places like Microsoft out, start cutting out Apple, or start demanding that they make their products here in America. If they're not going to make them here in America and pay a fair wage as part of their supply cost, then you need to be going over to China and paying the real price of the good rather than the huge marked up price. So that's what I've been learning. It's very important. Nobody talks about this. I wish people would be educated on these kind of things, but they don't educate you on these kind of things in school. They educate you on, whatever, the powerhouse of the cell, which is totally useless information. Unless you're going to be a biologist, I guess. A doctor. All right, so we're done. It is the 2 hour, we're at the 2 hour mark on the live stream. I'm going to go ahead and take a 15-minute break, and then I'll be heading over to open up about $8,000 of Pokemon cards and a PSA return on my card stream. If you guys want to join the Pokemon card stream to see what I do over there, just check the description of this live stream for a link to my second channel. I'll see you guys later.